What up, guys? Welcome back. I'm going to finish up Cole's sale here. We're going to talk about what he did in the back half of the sale in order to get this sale. I haven't watched any of this back half of this sale, but I know he closes it. That's all I know. So this is a continuation from the last video that I did where I talked a little bit about Cole's sales process in the front half of the sale, which is honestly excellent. He does a really good job of building rapport, getting into rapport quickly with the customer, and then going straight into building value. He does excellent fact finding, which then deepens the rapport. Again, you really always want to look at when you're in a sales process, persuasion and influence setting, especially when you're cold calling. Rapport is the first thing that is the most important to build rapport. Then from there, we want to do fact finding, capturing attention and building value, then giving price, and then closing for the first time. Now, what I really love about the working with Cole is that he's come a long way on this back half of the sales process, which is taking his game from selling 4 to 5 accounts a day to frequently having 7, 8, 9 deal days and 10 even. So in my opinion, watching his evolution of his back half of the sale, even though it's not quite perfect yet, we've got some work to do here. He's selling excellent so far, really well. But this working on this back half of the sale has not only taken him to another level, but even if he works on it further, you can get up to that 10 sales average a day. And then the only thing that would stop you from doing that going forward, honestly, is just not applying this stuff and really having to work on the inner game beliefs, reworking your standards of excellence, very much honing in on shaping your belief systems from the inside out. That's the thing that is the hardest actually to get a grip on. At least it's the hardest to come to terms with, but once you do that, like the skill set of being able to close anyone that's closable on the back half of the sale, anyone that will listen to you in our situations here, that's quite honestly, like, that is the way to get that, is work on your belief systems, work on your standard of excellence, which I talk about in all of my training. And then the skill set is just really easy. The skill set of what to say, when, how, so on and so forth, how to fit that into your own personality. It's awesome. So we're going to get straight into this. Cole just closed this person for the first time, meaning he asked for the sale for the first time. And now we're going to go straight into what he does on this back half of the sale here. So, oh, by the way, you still have this incentive going. If you have a live sale that you want me to react to, I'll send you $50 if you can capture it. Anyone. I'll take it from anyone. I would really love it from my Moxie guys, anybody that works at Moxie. My sales reps are not, but I really want to react to some live sales no matter what. And the more the better. $50 per sale. And then if you have a sale that you didn't close but you want me to dissect and react to, $30 per missed closed sale that I can help you understand like what to do better next time. Okay, here we go.
Young kid that came here one time and picked up her son. Look, the ants were already there. Yeah, they were already there. But so I don't know. Okay. Honestly,
if he were to have objections, do you have any idea what?
No.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'm just gonna rewind it here because I want you to see what he does for the close this first time, and then we're gonna really dissect like what the customer is saying and how he responds to it. I'm gonna watch this through like this full loop first, just to understand first of all what's going on, and then we'll go from there.
First time either one of us have had a home.
Hey, I think
she's not going to run out.
Yeah. First one for $80.
Oh, wow.
I would take $200 off, so that would be the full outside. I do the
Okay, so there's the price drop, obviously.
Would you guys be willing to try me out?
That's all up to my husband.
Really good, reasonable man. Willing to try me out?
I would, but that's up to my husband.
But you know him better than anybody. What do you think his thoughts would be?
Because he's turned others away. That's a young kid that came here one time and picked up her son. Look, the ants were already there. Yeah, they were already there. But so I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly,
if he were to have objections, do you have any idea what he would object to? Would it be the price or the service itself?
Probably price more than anything.
Shoot, I'm hot spotting right now because my internet's out, so hopefully this works.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes.
Probably price is what she says.
Well, tell him my job is essentially to buy back his time so that he can spend time with you at home. And when I can do the service with the warranty, that means when you have
it's a really good line, by the way.
You don't have to take care of it. He doesn't have to come home to take care of it. You just call me and I come back and get it knocked out for free. And
they can't stand the ants.
No,
no. Bad last year on ants.
Just in the house?
Not in the house. No.
Now she starts talking about all the problems, right?
I don't at this moment. Okay. By the doors, and you put it in the air conditioning unit. That kind of helps with spiders.
Interesting.
My mom told me that thing, and it actually has kind of worked. It's made a difference. Not 100%, of course. I have one I got to get that's underneath something right now. I'm going to get that one out.
A spider?
Yeah.
Okay.
It made my nose one strong. Just can't keep up with the dog hair.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
I want to trade this one in for non-shedder.
Yeah.
She's like, no.
She's kind of talking a lot, mostly because this person, her personality, but she's trying to avoid the issue of closing.
Yeah, she's still a puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we adopted her last October.
Oh, cool.
So again, really good from Cole here. He's just gonna let her talk, kind of let it go.
Married, I mean, we haven't been married, but
yeah, this is good.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
Got a house and a dog and a marriage all in a couple of years, huh?
Charming, nice.
I guess.
Pretty much. That's your American dream pothole, anyway.
I guess.
Well, so
when you get old, you're like, well, maybe I'm ready to get married now.
No, he's trying to get straight back into it, but he still is respectful and listening. Active listening, that's great.
That's kind of like the whole rundown. Basically, I do 13 points of service every time I come out. So, like I said, the inside, I do the
So now, I mean, now he's going into the full value proposition, which this is good. You know, I haven't really thought about doing it this way in reverse, where you do a bunch of features and benefits in the front half, and then kind of do the logical value prop in the back half. But I still would flip it.
The inside, I do the baseboards, and then the outside, I do the weep holes, which is huge. But on top of that, I do like a 3 foot by 3 foot power spray around the bottom of the house. If you see the ants and the spiders inside during the summer, that's usually a big, big barrier that stops them from getting inside.
Okay.
That coupled with the repellent that pushes bugs out of the walls rather than shoving them in the house. So a question for you. So I'm taking care of her today at 4. If you think you guys would be considering it, could we just shoot for tomorrow? And you talk to him and have him call me tonight if he's not on board, and I'll kind of walk him through how.
I'm not sure what time he'll get home. I know he doesn't work tomorrow. I work this afternoon, so I won't be here when he gets home.
Okay. What do you do for work?
Now we're kind of into a one-legger situation here, which is, I'm going to rewind and go through how I would have done this. He closes the sale no matter what, which is what, and this person got service from what I understand, which is great. So I'll walk through once we go through this a bit more about how I would have gone about this, but right here is kind of dangerous territory in the sense of it's hard to come back from when you open the door to like allowing it to be a one-legger situation, meaning like, you know, like sign somebody up, but the husband's not fully on board and neither is the wife because she's waiting for the husband type of thing, which is, you know, we're teetering like on that border right now. And I'm interested to see what he does here. This isn't bad. I've closed many people like this and they've been very solid customers with us for a long time. But I'll just walk through how now with the experience I have, what I would have done differently after we watch this.
I just a little part-time thing.
Okay.
I don't work. I'm retired, but it's just a little part-time. Actually, down at Pinky's, if you know where Pinky's is, it's 548.
You know where Pinky's is?
I work there for a little bit.
What on earth is Pinky's?
Yeah, and it's only 2 minutes down the street.
That's kind of.
I don't like to drive.
Kind of convenient.
And with the gas prices the way they are.
Yes. Well, so a question for you. So usually, the wife hates the bugs more than anybody.
Really good. Always, you know, prefacing whenever you're going to ask a question, it's always really good to ask permission to ask questions, and you can do that in a brief way by saying "question for you." The long way is, you know, let me just ask you a question if that's okay, but you can shorten that up and say "question for you," and then that's a good transition into your next thing, and it makes people listen. I often do this in the intro if someone's not listening to me or comes off hot on the doors. I'll be like, hey, no worries, I don't want to waste your time. Let me just ask you a question, and I'll get out of your hair if that's okay. Just a quick question so you can at least help me today. No, you don't have to buy from me. And then the arms, you know, they basically drop down their you can break through people's walls really easily by doing that. Although that's not what he's doing here. It's just I'm pointing out that it's really good to ask permission to ask questions anytime you're going to transition back into looping or value prop.
Does that sound fair to say?
Yes, I do not like spiders. I catch them.
Wife hates the bugs more than
the way they are.
Yes. Well, so a question for you. So usually the wife hates the bugs more than anybody. Does that sound fair to say?
Yes, I do not like spiders. I catch them and throw them back out because I can't squish them either.
Well, so here's the other thing. Usually, happy wife, happy life at the end of the day, right? If mom ain't happy, and nobody happy. And from what I understand, if daddy ain't happy, usually nobody cares. But his main objective is to make you happy. To make sure and if daddy ain't happy, usually nobody cares. But his main objective is to make you happy.
I want to point out here, like, look at the difference in her body language from how she was before. She's getting a little more uncomfortable right now. If you kind of watch how people will get uncomfortable by when they cross their arms and start touching their neck. This is kind of an evolutionary thing that we do to protect vitals, really. So, like, crossing legs, crossing arms, touching neck or face. When people are nervous, this is something that you do to show timidity or fear because you're protecting jugular or like vital veins, you know, bringing blood to and from the brain. Also, you're protecting your heart by crossing your arms, protecting like reproductive system, obviously, by crossing legs. That's something that evolutionarily is, or from an evolutionary standpoint, is a sign of timidity or if you're uncomfortable, which is a derivative of fear, essentially. So I always look for that when I'm talking to someone to gauge how am I making them feel. So Cole is now in closer. She's come out of the door much more than what she was before. I mean, where are we at right now? 9:22. So if you go back, look at the difference between this. If it'll load, I'm hot spotting onto my Wi-Fi is freaking out. Spectrum's down in my house. It's whatever in my studio. Okay, so look how the difference between this, she won't even come out right now while he's giving price, to this. Now she's at least out. If you look at here, when she starts pointing and she's really engaging with Cole, she's much more relaxed. Even here, slightly more relaxed a little bit. She's still kind of in this like timid or fearful state a tiny bit. You're not going to get someone to necessarily make a buying decision like that quite yet, but what I'm pointing out is you can, if you pay attention to her body language, and if you're with a customer, you pay attention to their body language, you can tell if they are ready to make a buying decision based on their body language. People will make a buying decision with their arms crossed and legs crossed or touching their neck or head or whatever. It's not like, I'm not saying people won't if they're doing that, but you can watch her get more comfortable as Cole's talking with her, which is she's really warming up to the idea of actually buying the service. I'm interested to see how this body language changes even more going forward, but I thought that was interesting to point out from a body language perspective. And Cole is anchoring her body language by being very calm and very confident. You see how he's standing stalwart, looking up, chin up, shoulders back. Cole's a confident dude as it is. But, you know, this is really good combat to when someone is timid or fearful. Trying to be the most relaxed you possibly can, not rigid, amplify this idea of possession by touching either the doorway or, casually touching the brick wall if it's closed or something along those lines. Really good.
I'm retired, but
okay.
It's just on the left-hand side.
Okay, so see how she's maybe, when she starts talking, she's opening up a little bit more.
All right. Gives you something to do for a little while.
Yeah, and it's only 2 minutes down the street.
That's
I don't like to drive.
Kind of convenient.
And with the gas prices the way they are now.
You know, the back half of the sale is kind of always like this, especially if you got a customer that's really starting to warm up to you and like really thinking about making a buying decision. They're going to talk more in the back half of the sale. So you really have to be good at letting them talk, which Cole does this really well, letting them talk for a second, actively listening, and then getting straight back into the sale, which was what he does.
Well, so a question for you. So usually...
question for you. Usually the wife is the one that hates the bugs. Is that fair to say?
Wife hates the bugs more than anybody. Does that sound fair to say?
Yes, I do not.
But does that sound fair to say? This is something I do all the time because... Is that fair to say is a good check-in question? And does that sound fair as a great close? Or end to a tritonal close? When you mix those together, does that sound fair to say? I do that all the time, and thinking about it, I'm like, man, it doesn't sound quite as good as I want it to when it comes out of my mouth. Cole makes it sound seamless, like I didn't even catch it almost the first time.
Spiders, I catch them and throw them back out because I can't squish them either.
Well, so here's the other thing. Usually, happy wife, happy life at the end of the day, right? If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And from what I understand,
If mama ain't happy, nobody happy.
but his main objective.
So getting her to laugh too, it's always really good. Back half of getting someone to laugh and like express emotion in a positive way is always really good in the back half of the sale to keep them engaged. Endorphin releases, ties people to the decision they're about to make, makes it more emotional for them, which is what you're trying to do anyway in the back half of the sale. Create an logical case first, and then build on top of that logical case an emotional case for buying. If you can actually infuse emotion into that in your conversation or make someone laugh, evoking emotion from them, that's an excellent thing to do.
To make you happy, to make sure no bugs are getting in the house with you. Yeah. If you would be willing to give me a shot, I would do the first one for $50. That would help him eat the pain of paying for it. But with the convenience of having us come out regularly, it'll be a no-brainer for him once he sees what I do. Would you be willing to try me out if I could do the first one for $50?
Probably be. I mean,
let's just try for tomorrow and then have him call me if he has any questions.
Because I won't be here tomorrow afternoon either. He will be here, but I won't be here.
He will be? Okay.
Yeah, he'll be here. Should be here all day. He usually works Saturday mornings, but he's not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow? Well, let's plan on tomorrow morning at like 10. And that sound okay?
Yeah. Cool. Come on back by again. You can explain it all.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop this here, mostly because this is what I would do too. If I had gotten myself into this situation, this is what I would do as well. I'd start signing the customer up, and then I'd continually solidify the sale as I'm signing them up, and then I'd really hit home on doing the service and seeing if she'll allow us to do the service, like even and be cool, really cool with it. Even with the husband not completely on board yet, and then I would actually come back and solidify the husband before the service starts. That's kind of what I would do if I'd got myself into the situation. Then obviously Cole is dropping the price like astronomically too low here. I'm only saying this as bluntly as I am because Cole knows how I feel about this, but I'm going to show you. It's not bad because you're getting the sale no matter what. I'd rather you get the sale than not. Some people are like anti getting a sale unless it's a certain price. But if the total contract value is good and the price is high on the recurring revenue, that I'd take that over anything. So what I want to do though is I'd take that over nothing is what I'm saying. I want to show you though how you wouldn't actually have to price drop this low, and how you could still get this sale, but even solidify it more and more quickly, more thoroughly. But this is what I'm going to do. Let's go back to this first loop. I'm just going to walk you through exactly how I would have done the loop. The rest of the sale would have totally changed for me. She wouldn't have said the same things if Cole would have done this loop differently, like this, deflecting the first objection a little differently. But I'm going to just walk you through exactly how I do that, deflecting the objection, and then we'll go from there. Let's see.
Kind of works. Not 100%, of course.
You just call me and I come back and get it knocked out for free. And
they can't stand the ants. Oh
no,
gosh, no. Bad laugh.
See, where was it at? Right. Because she's going to give that husband objection.
She's turned others away.
Oh, yeah. And she's even trying to solidify her argument that her husband doesn't want to do it by saying, oh, he's turned other people down, which is super common. So people like that all day long.
That's all up to my husband because I would.
Are you willing to try me out?
That's all up to my husband because.
Okay, let's go here first. He does the price drop, and she says, "Ooh," like she you can see her, the way that she responds is like, "Man, that sounds really good, right?" Ooh. Once he does that price drop, now, what's cool about this is here. Let's see where are we at here. So he does this price drop. She says, she's basically like, what does she say here?
Thing I do is warranty from beginning to end. So if you see any, that's awesome. Actually, when you see the bugs, you come back for free. You don't have to take care.
Gives the warranty, right? When you see the bugs, come back for free.
This is both of them. Either one of us have
hanging out.
If I can fit you in, I'll do it for $89.
Okay.
I would do the first one for $80.
Oh wow!
And then she goes, "Oh wow!"
So that would be the full outside. I do the inside and the garage for free. Mm-hmm. Would you guys be willing to try me out?
That's all up to my husband because.
Okay, right here. I'm going to start with this tritonal close. So what I do when I give prices, I'm always going to give price in 3 sections. I view it. The first section of price is always going to be what is the normal cost of the service. I'm trying to show actual value by showing price. And well, so value and price are different things. People get this confused, but I'm trying to show how much the service is worth from a monetary perspective to therefore reflect more value in the customer's mind. So first section of price is always normal pricing. Normally, my service, if you were to just call me out and we were to send a truck all the way out just for your house, and what you're paying for is the cost of the time, and I'm not saying all these things, but it's implied because I really need it to make logical sense why my service is normally priced what it is. The cost of my field expert's time is honestly expensive. We have career paths for everyone that works with us. We're not just normal run-of-the-mill blue collar workers. We have career paths for everyone, and so therefore we pay our people much higher, and they earn much more and have the potential to earn much more than what at other places. Now that's important because they're actually doing service and quality work that's at much higher level with an education level and certification levels that are at a much higher level, right? So that's what you're paying for, is the knowledge, education of the people doing the work on your home, taking care of it like it is their own, like it's our own. Hey, stop, guys. My dog's all growling when they hear people come over. So you're going to start off with what's the normal price. Normally, if you were to call me out, it would cost this much. So a usual initial treatment, the startup fee, I've been saying that a lot lately. Instead of saying the initial service price, I'll say normally the startup fee is blank. And the reason why I've been saying startup fee is because I've not been discounting my initial price nearly as much. And so it makes more sense if someone already knows they're going to pay a startup fee with internet or with a service provider. Usually there's a startup fee. So I'm just referring to it as a startup fee. So normally the initial service and startup fee is blank, and that's going to be expensive, $300 or whatever, right? That's usually what I start mine at. After that, I come out seasonally for customized seasonal treatments. Those are once every 3 months. That's just going to be blank. Or I've been selling a lot of bi-monthlies lately. I'll say after that, I come out at the least every season, but the per treatment price every time I come out is blank. Now, so I'm giving the normal cost of the service, right? So it's usually this much for the startup fee, and this is how much it costs to come out on a recurring basis. That's the first section. Second section of price, I'm going to give some sort of value. The easiest one to do is the warranty here, but a really good one too is to say we rotate products seasonally. Whatever your actual value prop is there that you can really stand behind. If you can't stand behind, or you don't think it's cool that we do a warranty, then don't talk about the warranty in the middle of price. If you think it's awesome that you do a warranty, talk about the warranty. Guys, stop. Come here. Hey, come here. Come on, up. Say hi to everybody. This is Indiana. Zell, come here, bud. Or you can go say hi if you want. You can go meet whoever's down there. I think it's probably Addie or Bjorn. Anyway, so if you don't think it's cool, whatever you are giving as value, you need to be able to feel like it's actually valuable. So don't just repeat talking points. Put some form of value in there that you think the customer is actually going to love about your service. That is something you do on a consistent, recurring basis. So if a good, awesome value prop is the fact that, and listen, that one of the things you're going to love is we have by far the best customer service in the industry. And so it's going to be not only an enjoyable experience, but we're going to solve your problems at the same time anytime you interact with us. So we're always actively looking for ways to help you, blah, blah, blah. I'm just riffing here, right? So initial price and quarterly price is always going to be first. What are you normally paying? Then you're going to move into value. Most people are saying something about the warranty. I like to say now the best part about my service is that we actually rotate products seasonally. So we're treating your home differently every single time, but with the same amount of coverage. And that's important to you because obviously that's the only way to get rid of the bugs. No one else is doing that. Everybody else's services are outdated. And so mine, the most advanced treatment on the market, because we have the most advanced level of knowledge on the market that's constantly being updated with how we train. It's going to be really important for you. That's the only way to actually get rid of the bugs long term. And we're trying to be the best for you, not only today, but long term. I want you to be a customer of mine 10 years from now, which is very rare in our industry to even think that way. This is mostly the unspoken message that I'm getting at in that value, but that's why I share value right there. And that's typically some very short version of that is what I'm saying. Now, the last section of price, the third section, is going to be the price drop and tritonal close. So then you're going to say, well, listen, if I can fit you guys in while we're here, I've already got a bunch of people. Like Cole said, I signed up 29 people the last 3 days. If I can fit you in while we're here, I can easily do that first one for much cheaper because my trucks are already going to be going, I'm just a stone's throw away from your house with the service with Nancy. So I can do the first one for $100 off. Now it's a lot, obviously, but I want to make sure that you get a good price, and I definitely I don't need to charge you full price because I'm already here. So all I'm asking, now I'm going to go into the tritonal close. All I'm asking is give me a shot, try me out for a year, let me prove it to you how good this is seasonally, and honestly, I think you're really going to like it. Does that sound fair? So I'm going to go hard on that tritonal close. So certainty, give me a shot. All I'm asking, nothing crazy here, okay? Just give me a shot for a year. Let me show you how well this works seasonally. Let me show you what I mean by those customized seasonal treatments. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. I don't just walk away and you never hear from me again. And honestly, if your experience is even half as good as what my other customers have been feeling in this neighborhood, you're going to love it, okay? You're never going to want to leave. And you'll take me to your next house and, you'd sign up for all the other services with me too. Does that sound fair? That's a drawn-out tritonal close. So then she's going to give this objection. My husband takes care of that. Now, her husband very well may be the person that is going to make the decision here, but I don't know that yet. So I'm not even going to take anything she says at face value on that first objection after my first close. So that's why for me it's important to not actually address that objection right there. You see that she digs her heels in and keeps bringing up the husband objection. The reason in my mind why is she would have actually made the decision there, but Cole addressed the husband objection right away, making it easy for her to see that as a consistent excuse in the next smoke screens and objections she was going to give. Does that make sense? So do you see what I'm saying here with that? Like, if someone gives you an objection and you address it directly, but that objection is not actually real, it's just a smoke screen, and they're just trying to see if you'll go away still, like they're trying to give a really good excuse to stump you so that you leave. If you address that objection as if it's a real objection, but it's not, they'll keep using it because they know that that's what stumped you. So if they keep using it and they see you're not overcoming it well or you don't have a good answer, then they'll hop to another objection. So that's kind of what will happen. They'll dig their heels in until you actually solve that, but it's still not real, so they're going to hop to another one. This is called objection hopping. They dig their heels in first, then hop to other objections. That's why I don't ever address that objection in the first after my first close after price. So we're going to deflect this objection actually, and that way if she does bring up the husband again, I know it's valid. So if I deflect it properly, then she brings it up again. Now I for sure know that she's not going to make a decision without him. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to price drop and do all this stuff. I'll try to really get her on board, and then I'll come back and solidify the husband. And if I do it well enough, I won't even need the husband because I'll see if she can make the decision, and if she does, then we're good. We're golden. That's why it's important to really deflect this objection. Don't give ear to it, nor address it directly. Now that's tricky. How do you deflect an objection without seeming like you're ignoring the customer? Well, I'm going to actually just respond to this person as if I was on the door.
I would, but
okay, let's see.
That's all up to my husband because I would, but that's all up to my husband because I would.
Okay, so I'm going to say, now listen, I don't remember what her name is. Nancy, all I'm asking, okay, give me a shot, try me out. I know you hate the bugs, all right? I'm going to be the best person, not only in this neighborhood, but in all of the country to be able to take care of this for you. Try me out, and believe me, I think your dog's even going to love it too, okay? Does that sound fair? Dang it. I thought that was going to be more smooth than it was.
That's all up to my husband because I would, but that's up to my.
Okay, now I understand, and I want you guys to be on the same page and make a good decision, but let me just ask you, Nancy, so based on everything that I've said, how do you feel about it, though? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, is this something that you'd be willing to give me a shot in and at least consider down the road? How do you feel about it? Based on everything I've said, like, could you at least see yourself going with me? You know, how's it feeling so far? You like it at least? I'm going to ask something along those lines. Now, what am I doing here? Hey, listen, based on everything I've said, like, where are you at so far? Is this something that you're pretty considering? Like, is this something that you would do if I could, make things work well? contract aside, your husband aside, what I'm really getting at is when I use this hypothetical tonality, listen to my voice and the unspoken message in my voice. Based on everything I've said, hypothetically speaking, that's the tone of voice that I'm using. Now, you don't mimic or copy the way I do this. Just do your own hypothetical. You'll give the same psychological message if you do it in your own tone of voice. Now listen, hey Nancy, I understand that you want to make a good decision, obviously, and I understand that you guys want to be on the same page. So I'm not addressing the objection. I'm just acknowledging that she said it, so she's not going to dig her heels in. Listen, Nancy, based on, I understand you want to make a good decision, and I for sure want you guys to be on the same page, okay? I get it. But based on everything I've said, I mean, how do you feel about it so far? Like, let me help me understand. Like, is this something that you'd be really considering? Like, if I could make things work well, if we could work it out, is this something you'd really be considering? Just help me understand. So my hypothetical here is based on everything I've said. Would you be willing to try me out down the road at least? Or based on everything I've said, would you be willing to give it a shot if I could make it work? Based on everything I've said, would you be willing to give it a shot if your husband was on board? Now, what that's going to do is let her answer honestly. If you do the hypothetical, it breaks down people's barriers and they don't give smoke screens anymore. If you do it really well. So that hypothetically speaking, but you don't want to use the words hypothetically speaking, or sometimes this is called the money aside tonality. You don't want to use the money aside. Yeah, so money aside, I mean, price aside. This is the anything you just told me aside tonality. So barring what your husband says, how do you feel about it at least? See, my tone's still there. It's the same exact message. The underlying psychological message, the meta message I'm giving with my voice is pressure off. Just tell me how you really feel. And then now that's going to allow her to respond honestly. And then I'm not going to address anything she says about the husband there. Because, and again, Cole closes the sale and this person actually gets our service. So like he does a good job with it. What I'm getting at though is I now have a clear path to give more value to make it more likely that she will buy from me right there if I deflect that objection instead of addressing it. Colmore addresses it. So what objections would your husband have? And you know how like if you're ever like in an argument with someone, a loved one, for example, or maybe playful argument or a serious one, and you kind of like combat each other with the things they say at face value, but that's not the real concern of the argument. It's usually something a lot deeper. Right? That's typically what's going on when you're in a back and forth with the customer. They're trying to give you reasons why to go away, basically, or to not quite make the decision yet. And if you just address those things that are not actually real, those smoke screens, then it's futile. You just run in circles. That's why they'll dig their heels in more if they see that it's defeated you, or if they see that it has the potential of defeating you, or they'll objection hop. So that's, again, why I want to deflect, because I know in order for her to buy, she needs more value. And she needs to see that this is a no-brainer even if her husband's not on board. So that's why I'm going to say, yeah, based on everything I've said, I mean, how do you feel about it at least? Like, is this something that you'd consider, based on everything I've said so far? I'm like, hypothetically speaking, just tell me how you feel. What your husband says aside, just tell me how you feel. That's the underlying message, right? And then she's going to say something like, I mean, yeah, like I said, I'd do it. It's just my husband. And she digs her heels in again, says the husband again. That's fine. Still going to ignore it. Yeah, that's fine. I would love to do it, just my husband. And okay, great. But you see what I'm saying? So now I'm going to reiterate. Yeah, and you see what I'm saying about like the ants, right? And how that's important to do this, this, and this. And then you're going to reiterate value from the front half of the sale, which I'll usually do a full value prop, like broad sweeping strokes of that, so it's not as specific. I'll say, did that make sense what I was saying about treating the yard in this specific way? That just how, it's the most effective thing for your home, and it's actually going to save your husband a lot of time. Does that make sense what I was saying before? Yeah, yep, exactly. That's why people use me. Now, listen, Nancy, though, the real beauty about my service, and so then I'm going to use this transition. The real beauty about my service is go into the next part, build more value, check in. Now do you see what I'm saying, Nancy? You see why so many people have signed up with me? So many people have signed up, and even a lot, their spouses weren't on board quite yet, but they just absolutely love it. You see why? Now do you see why it's such a no-brainer? And then I'm going to gauge where she's really at if I need to give more value, and then I'm going to keep going through my loops after that. That is a really good way to avoid the potential of them digging their heels into an objection that's not real just to stump you. It's also a really good way to avoid objection hopping and get to the truth of whether they'll make a decision right there or not, whether they are actually a decision maker or they're just kind of playing along, which this person, in my mind, is going to be fine making the decision. I still am going to go back and solidify that sale with the husband just to make sure, because I always want to just do that anyway. It just makes it much less likely that people cancel, especially when competitors come around and try to switch over people, if they actually have an experience with the rep that signed them up. So that's just some, I'm going to get deeper into this back half of the sales stuff on a different video, but that's how I would have approached that. Now, Cole closes the sale no matter what. Cole is an excellent salesman. I really think that if you take the things that I'm talking about here, you meaning anyone, can increase their sales and close rate by 20 to 30%. I certainly did when I started deflecting the objection on the back half of the sale, like I just taught, instead of addressing it. I used to try to come up with one-liners, and I used to get so frustrated because I have a hard time memorizing one-liners and then using them quickly in specific situations. So when I realized that all I actually needed to do on that first objection on the back half of the sale is just deflect it, and I could deflect it in this literally the exact same way no matter the objection, and then reiterate value and then transition into building more value, that template allowed me to cut through smoke screens, get to the real reason why people weren't buying, actually build more value instead of just price dropping, because that's why me doing that is going to allow me to not have to price drop, and then close way more deals because of it. So I hope you guys like this. Remember, the incentive's still going. Send me live sales that I can react to. Please, $50 per sale. Watch the first part 1 of this that I released on Friday, and you guys are really going to like that. It's what Cole does the best is in the front half of the sale. It's funny because guys that are really good in the front half of the sale, they close 4 to 5 deals super easy every day. And they never get into the back half of the sale, which if that's ever happening, I'm always like, geez, well, if you master the back half of the sale, you're going to be closing 10, 12, 14 deals a day, easy. And that's then you got to work on standards, obviously, to put in the work to do that and to not get complacent when you start getting the higher numbers during the day. But it's just really easy to do that when you master the back half and then you work on the inner game. More of this to come, guys. Thanks for being on the train today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.